Second gear. Yeah, she has some beans. She has some beans. Yeah, again, definitely has the power. $2,500 cc's, 163 horsepowers, 65s actually. First time ever with some seat time. Let's check it out. Initially, very smooth, very torquey, buttery smooth torque delivery actually. Nice triple sound. Definitely doesn't feel as big and unwieldy as I thought, for sure. Just came off the Thruxton RS, so I gotta get my brain used to putting my feet out in front of me here on the GT. It does have forward control. The R has more of a mid-control setup. All right, boys and girls, and we're off. Super smooth. Wow. Wow. She's got some life in her. We're here in beautiful Tucson, Arizona. As you can see, beautiful weather today. Gonna creep up about 60 or so. Let's try out some heated grips. The GT does come standard with heated grips. It feels much more lively than I was expecting in terms of like how quick the engine revs up. I really did kind of expect this kind of like diesel truck kind of pulling power sensation. It's actually much more instantaneous, much more responsive. Riding position is very comfortable. The seat is very comfortable. Of course, if you're used to that cruiser riding position, this is right at home for you. Me personally, the bars are pulled back a little far for me. I would like to have more of like a flatter bar like that's on the Rocket 3R. Hitting some bumps there. Yeah, definitely not as unwieldy as I was expecting at all. Of course, all the torque in the world, even from down low, shifting is almost optional. I could pretty much just leave it in 6th gear. You can see we're in 6th gear now, doing about 50 miles an hour. Roll on, it's right there. I'm going to take it down even lower. 30 miles an hour in 6th gear. Let's see if we can pull out of it. Wow. Wow. Not even breaking a sweat. The acceleration, even in 6th gear. Wow. To be fair, we did have some turn signals falling off these bikes. I don't know if that's something that's associated, you know, because these are pre-production bikes. I don't know if that's something they have changed in the production version of it to kind of alleviate that a little bit. Definitely has more than enough torque. Very spry. Let's go ahead and looks like we're going to get on the beans a little bit here. 4th gear pull. Let's give it 5th gear. And obviously it pulls like a freight train. It doesn't feel fast exactly, but the power is so linear and delivered so smoothly that I think it takes away from the feeling of that immediate punch, which obviously you do get in lower gears, but just the pull in, you know, the higher gears, it just, like I said, downshifting is almost unnecessary completely, which is kind of what you'd expect out of a 2500 cc motor. Let's give the cruise control a little go here. Of course, Triumph's rocker switch cruise control there, so you'll hit down once for set, down again, and you can see it's set at 59 miles an hour there. Of course, gives you totally hands-free on the right hand if you need to do something with your jacket or something like that. Really beautiful. Completely stable. Very stable. Of course, doesn't throw over quite like a sport bike, but you wouldn't exactly expect it to with 240 millimeters of rubber out back and 150 millimeters of rubber out front. Let me say that again. 150 millimeter wide front tire that's thicker than some back tires on some other bikes, and we're rocking 240 millimeters of rubber out back. You know, obviously with this type of bike, the power is going to be there, so I don't think the power is what's really blowing my mind. What is kind of impressive though is the remarkable smoothness of it and the everyday rideability of it. It's not an unwieldy bike at all to ride. It's a very you know, approachable bike to ride in an everyday scenario. Of course, around 70 miles an hour highway speed, more than smooth enough. The road surface here, as I'm sure you can hear in my voice, is a little choppy, but with the wheelbase and weight of this bike's kind of smoothing that out a little bit. I really wish we had a little bit more curvy roads here to kind of really lean this thing over a little bit, but maybe we'll get into that here in a little bit. I do have the heated grips on level 1 right now. Seems to be doing wonderfully. The modern Triumph heated grips actually work really good. Almost too good on the highest setting if you ask me. But it's good to have that choice. Yeah, watch this. 2,500 RPM, 3 grand, roll it on, 6 gear, instantaneously there. There we go. We're getting into some twisties. So I do own a first generation Yamaha VMAX. Mine's a 1995 with the 1200cc V4. I will say this, obviously this is a lot more linear, but I think along with that it's almost a little, I don't want to say lackluster, but it's almost too smooth for its own good. Which is not necessarily a bad thing, I guess, just depending on what type of riding you want to do that day, or you as the consumer want out of your motorcycle, which in this case with something like this bike, especially the GT, is probably going to be slightly more mature gentleman who wants to enjoy that smoothness and not necessarily want to set the world on fire in terms of breakneck, you know, going around a track or nothing like that. So as a shock and awe machine, it's kind of hard to beat this bike. Plenty of attention from everybody that looks at it. They say it and they go, oh my god, 2,500 cc's. This bike does have a quicker 0 to 60 time than the Diavel. I must say that, because the Diavel, for any of you that have experience with it, is a hell of a machine in its own right there. We're getting stuck behind a camper here. Obviously not ideal, but it does give us a chance to look at that beautiful scenery. Absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, first impressions, obviously I've had some experience with the bike in the shop, being able to touch it, play with it, see some of the odds and ends of it. It's obviously fit and finishes right up there with anybody. Of course, Triumph, they really went the extra mile to really put the finishing touch on every nut and bolt of this thing, hiding all the wires so there's really no exposed wiring. Second gear. Yeah, she has some beans. She has some beans. But again, it's not to the point where you're at least it's not to the point where it's like scaring the shit out of me or anything. Then again, my frame of reference is probably a little off. Being a VMAX owner, that thing is scary, not only for its acceleration and speed, but for the fact that it's totally under-braked and can't handle worth a shit. So in this case, obviously Brembo Stylema brakes, if I didn't say that already, feel fantastic actually for this big bike, bringing it down to a stop in no time at all. We're running some Avon Cobra tires that seem to be relatively smooth riding, hook up pretty good. I should mention that Avon partnered specifically with Triumph to make these tires for this bike, and it has the Union Jack on the sidewall and everything. It's kind of nice little touch. So yeah, I mean, kind of in summary here, it's got a load of torque, a load of power. Nobody is going to question that. For me, I think it's almost too smooth, and I can't believe I'm saying that. So for some people, that's probably going to be a plus. For me, it kind of takes away from the excitement of it a little bit. Again, kind of in that, you know, VMAX frame of mind that kind of wants to blow your head off. Terrifying motorcycle. So yeah, again, definitely has the power. Just a little too smooth for its own good.